right, today's lesson is a very important lesson. Probably can't stress it enough how important this one is. Order of operations. As you guys get into junior high, you're going to have this all over the place. And so you really have to grab a hold of what it means to do problems in the proper order. So we're going to talk about that today and do some practice with it also. So up top here, they give us some really important information on what we should do first in a problem. For example, look at this problem over here up in the box. You have 6 plus 3 minus 2 times 2 to the 2 power minus 5 divided by 5. So you don't just work across. Because we have exponents and because we have parentheses and because we have things like multiplication and division that are more important, I guess you could say, that have to be done first over addition and subtraction, we have rules. All right. So the first rule is that parentheses always get done first. Okay. So if I look at this problem over here, the very first thing they are going to do, so they're going to do this in steps. You see that? So the very first thing they're going to do is they're going to do 3 minus 2, and that equals 1. So now we have 6 plus 1 times 2 to the 2 power minus 5 divided by 5. Okay? The next thing you do is you have to do the exponents or the powers. All right, so we have 2 to the 2 power. That has to be done next. So now we have 6 plus the 1 we bring down. The 2 to the 2 power will become to the 4, then bring down the minus 5 and divide it by 5. The next thing that you do is you do all the multiplication and division in the order from left to right as you see them. Okay, so as I look through this problem on line number 3 right here, I'm not going to do the 6 plus 1, okay? I'm going to do, is that a divided by? I'm sorry. No, it's a plus. Okay. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm right here. That's why I'm getting confused. I'm not going to do 6 plus 1. I'm just going to bring the 6 down. I'm actually going to do the 1 times the 4 next, and that becomes 4. And then I bring down the minus 5 divided by 5. And technically, you could do that right now. 5 divided by 5, and that would be 1. Okay? Now I'm left with 6 plus 4 minus 1. 6 plus 4 first, which is 10. Then minus 1, which would be 9. All right, so that was a lot in that problem. And they're not going to give us everything all at once, so don't panic. And I'm going to help you until you get the hang of it, so don't worry about it, okay? All right, so let's look at number 1. In number 1, we only have the parenthesis issue. So you're not going to do the 5 times, so just write 5 times. You're going to do the 7 plus the 2. So the 7 plus the 2 is 9. And then you can solve it, 45. See that? All right, now we have 12 divided by 4. Is that divided by 2? Oh, I gotta look at it's so small I can't even hardly see it. No, it's a plus 2. Okay. Times 3. Plus it's getting dark in my bedroom. Okay, so we're not going to do this part, okay? But we're going to do the 4 plus the 2. And that's going to be 6 times 3. Now at this point we have divided by and times. So we're just going to work our way across. Okay? 12 divided by 6 is 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? In C, I have to do this 2 to the 2 power first. So I'm not going to divide first. I'm going to go 2 to the 2 power. Well, that's a 4. Now I'm going to do 16 divided by 4, and that equals 4. In D, I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any exponents. The only thing I see is that I have this plus in between two multiplication problems. I'm going to do those two multiplication problems first. Let me get rid of that so I don't get so confused. All right, so I've got 3 times 2 is 6 plus 6 plus 4 is, 6 times 4 is 24. Now I'm going to take 6 plus 24 and I'm going to get 30. Okay? Not too bad, is it? All right. So now I have 12 times 2 plus 6 divided by 3. Now, because I'm a great fan of shortcuts. Let's see if I can do the shortcut without confusing you. So I have 12 times 2 plus 6 divided by 3. I have to do that 6 divided by 3 first because it's in parentheses. So do it. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I'm just going to put it right there. Now I have 12 times 2 plus 2. The times is important, not more important, but it gets done first. But it's first in the problem anyway, so that makes it easy. 12 times 2 is what? 24 plus 2 is 26. All right, in F, I don't have any parentheses and I have no exponents. And I have all multiplication and division, so I do them in the order they're written. So I'm going to do 5 times 6 first. That's 30. Divided by 3. 30 divided by 3, 10. Divided by 5, 2. Let me try that again. 5 times 6 is 30. Divided by 3 is 10. Divided by 5 is 2. Okay? Now, look at G. This one could be tricky because you would be tempted to just go in order, but you can't. We have a multiplication problem in here. That has to be done. It's almost like it might as well be in parentheses because you have to do that before you add. So 2 times 6 is 12. Now you can add it to the 7, and that's 19. And you may say, does it really make a difference? Well, let's see. What's 7 plus 2? 9. Times 6, what's the answer? 54. Is that the right answer? Oh, totally not the right answer. So you got to do this first. That's 12. 7 plus 12 equals 19. All right, same way with H. We have minus first, but we have a divide part at the end. We must do that first. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now you're going to do 9 minus 2, 7. All right? Square each fraction by multiplying by itself. This is interesting how it works out with fractions. So it's 2/3 times 2/3. And what do you get? 4/9. Yep. You actually get something smaller. It's when you square fractions, it's like the opposite. Okay. 1/2 times 1/2. This is where you can really see it. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4, which is smaller than both of those two put together. Fractions, like everything's the opposite than whole numbers. When you're multiplying fractions, you're really dividing fractions. It's all very confusing. So 3/4 times 3/4. And the reason it is because what you're doing is, like, this one's the easiest to draw. When you multiply 1/2 by 1/2, what you're doing is you're making 1/2 and you're making a half of a half. Well, this is the half of the half, right? So what you've done is you've made 1/4. And in whole number world, 2 times 2 would be bigger, would be more, right? But in fraction, 1/2 times 1/2, you actually get something smaller. Interesting, isn't it? All right, 5/7 times 5/7 equals 25/49. And I don't think we can reduce that. And then 1/4 times 1/4, once again, what's half of 1/4? Half of that, which is now, I can't even hardly do it, is 1/8. Okay? Draw an angle and bisect it with a compass. I'll just quickly remind you what you're going to do. First of all, you're going to get your protractor out. Draw a straight line with your protractor. Set it on there and mark it at 120 degrees. I don't know if that is, but. And then, okay, so you're going to put your compass, put the pointy part, the metal part on your vertex. Somewhere in your angle, swing around the other side of your protractor, the pencil side, and make an arc. Then take your compass, put the metal part on one side, the pencil part on the other side of this arc to measure an arc. Then put your metal, put your metal point on one of these dots. It doesn't matter which one you start with. Then you take the pencil part, swing it up to the top, and you make an arc. Then put it on the other side, make another arc. And where it intersects, you're going to make a straight line with your protractor, and you have bisected it. And once again, I think I do a pretty good job doing that freehand. I'm pretty proud of myself. Okay. Complete the chart doing the radius and circumference. I'm doing the circumference in the area. Remember, circumference is the pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter. So this is in radius, so you're going to have to double it, or times it by 2. And then the area is pi times the radius squared. So you're going to do radius times radius. All right, you should be able to do that by now on your own. All right, now let me find 136. Make sure I have the right lesson because I messed up with the 5th graders at one point. I went to another lesson. See, like that. I don't want to do that. Let's see here. Let me go back. Stop it. There we go. 136. Back of 136. All right. The top part, I'm going to totally leave you. Let's see. This should be pretty easy. I remember I did one of those with you just recently. 7 looks pretty easy. Just remember, you do a few of them with you. So for 7a, if you have 15 seconds, how many minutes is that? So you're going seconds to minutes, you're going to divide. So it's 15. How many seconds are in a minute? 60. You will have to reduce that. 5 goes into that 3 times. 5 goes into 60 12 times, and that reduces again. So in the end, you get 1/4. On this one, you're going gallons to quarts, larger to smaller. So it's 3/4 times, how many quarts are in a gallon? 4. Cross cancel, and I believe I'm left with 3. The 3/4 of a gallon is 3 quarts. Let me try one where you're going smaller to larger to, smaller to larger. Let me see. Maybe they don't have any on here. Nope. Oh, here's one. Smaller to larger. There's 2 of them. Smaller to larger. All right, so these we will divide. So if you have 15 teaspoons, we're going to divide that by how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon? 3. 15 divided by 3? 5. All right, you can do the rest on your own. All right, let me look down here. Round off to the nearest cent. Remember, in money, we don't have anything past 2 places after the decimal. So you have got to round that 9 properly. And I'm going to let you do that. Write the decimal equivalent. There's a reason I have you practicing that, because we all mess it up. All right, so remember, if you're going to write 2 point, we're going to change 1/4 to a decimal, and that 1/4 is the same as 0.25. At this point, it's still a percent. Now you have to move your decimal over 2 times. Okay? Round off to the nearest 10,000. 0 is in the 10,000. Okay, so everything after that, you'll have to look at the number after the 0 to see what you do with it. Everything after it will be zeros, and then all these will stay the same. Find 3% of $6, so you have $6. Change that percent to a decimal. Move it over twice, so it's 0.03. You probably want to flip that around. Do 0.03 times 6. Okay? Reduce to lowest terms. I think like this one will go here. This one is go here. That's what they're meaning. Okay? All right. I think you're good. You can call me if you have any questions. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.